Hello and welcome to Beachview, our podcast about different things and/or stuff.
Yes, hello. And today we're going to be talking about another sort of genre. We're going to talk about theater.
Well, it's a medium, but yes,
Well,
theater.
yeah. Yeah, it is. So we figured we would talk about theater today because we were discussing it a little bit recently. I kind of want to dig more into it.
Yes. So I don't have a lot of experience with the theater.
Yeah.
But you do have a decent amount, is that correct?
Yeah, but let me clarify. I have a decent amount of attending the theater.
Oh, yes.
Watching theater, not like actually like being an actor in a theater at all. So just to clarify that, because I do know some people who are, self-proclaimed like theater dorks or no, what are they? Are they theater geeks? I don't know. They have like a little name.
Yeah.
I don't either, but they like, theater people will say.
Theater kids is the term if you're like in it in like high school and stuff.
Oh, theater kids. Okay. I knew there's like a little term, but I don't know what it is. Obviously, because I'm not in it, but I do know a few people who are like very into the theater. So that's a whole I feel like a like kind of subtopic of this. Like people who are like theater people are definitely like a subset, like they
Yes.
a lot of them have like certain characteristics and that kind of stuff. So I will say, like, as I said, I have not participated in theater unless you count my 5th grade play, which was actually a really good play, by the way, but but that's it. So yeah. So you said you don't have much experience with it.
No. Well, either acting like you said, like I think the most is like reading off lines of plays in like English class.
Yes. Yeah, that seems like everyone has to do.
Or watching any, so.
Yeah. So you haven't really been to a theater. Have you seen anything like in person at a theater?
I've been to like theater-ish venues to see like orchestras and stuff once or twice, but
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so no like actual like theatrical performances.
No.
Which I have to say, like, I am a fan of orchestras too, like in the theater setting. But getting back to our topic, yeah. So I think, and this is something I may have mentioned before, but I don't know if it's because I grew up, right by New Orleans, and there's just a lot of opportunity for theater there. That I grew up like going on field trips to the theater, just like. Even now, we'll go see stuff occasionally at the theater. We have several theaters like around the city that you could go to, and I think it's just really accessible here. So I think in community theater, obviously there's a lot of participation in that, and so I've seen quite a few things. So I thought maybe we'd go down, the list of what I have seen. And also, if you're familiar with any of these, just like jump in. But theater in general, I think like I'm a fan, but I'm not like a super fan because I feel like it does like it encourages like exposure to the arts. I think it gives people a more like well-rounded like cultural experience. Like I think it helps. There's a lot of just like references to different plays or theater in general. That I think, like, it just gives you a more well-rounded experience. So I am grateful that, like, I had those experiences as a kid, like, growing up. Because I didn't know that a lot of people don't. So, and as you shared, y'all never really went on field trips to theaters, right?
No. Movie theaters, but that's not the same thing.
That's fun. No, so the things that I've seen that I can remember... obviously some Shakespeare plays, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah. A Streetcar Named Desire, Death of a Salesman, which that one, by the way, is supposed to have been like the best play in the past 100 years.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you agree with that assessment?
I thought it was kind of sad. Like, I didn't...
Oh, it can be good and sad.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but like, I don't know. I thought it was just like really sad. So I was kind of like, eh.
Not a fan of tragedies?
No, I mean, like, some tragedies. More like Shakespearean tragedies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then, like, okay, so musicals.
Yes, big part of theater.
Yes, I've seen, Evita. I've seen West Side Story. I've seen, Jesus Christ Superstar. Les Miserables.
Yep.
And, like, I've seen, Hamilton on Disney Plus. So I didn't actually see that in person. But watched it a couple times on Disney Plus. And then, Grease, of course, which is like kind of a rock pop musical, you know?
Yeah, modern classic, I'd say.
Yeah, modern classic. And of course, I think, like, I cannot dismiss that we all grew up watching Disney musicals, so I feel like that counts.
Yeah, well, those are movies, but...
Yeah, but a lot of them are also, like, on Broadway, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Have you seen any of the stage adaptations?
Not in person.
Okay.
I have seen, I've seen some on, like, TV, so, like, The Lion King, like, those kinds of things. But, yeah, those are definitely, you know, I guess musicals. And I know I've seen more, and I just cannot remember, but the Saenger Theater here was, you know, really popular. It shut down for a number of years after Katrina, and then it reopened, and then it shut down. I actually had tickets to go see, I want to say it was Wicked, we were going to go to a couple of years ago. And that's when, I don't know if you heard about the Hard Rock Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
That was the tragedy there. The hotel collapsed. They were building it. It was under construction, and it collapsed, and it damaged some of the Saenger Theater. So I never got to see that one. And it closed for a while because they could not figure out how to get it down, and there were like people had died in the collapse, and they were trying to figure out how to get, you know, their bodies out. But it was just so crazy that it took forever for them to fix it and then to reopen the theater right next door. So anyway, so it was going to be my last one. And then also, just to note, I've been to New York several times, but never to go see Broadway. So that kind of tells you, like, I'm not, like, a huge... Yeah. You know, like, that's not a priority to me. It's fun to go every once in a while, but it's not... Like, I'd much prefer the orchestra to plays. Yeah. Is that how you feel?
Well, I don't know. I've not been to a lot of, like, orchestral performances either.
Yeah.
I've just been to some of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, of plays you've seen, what would you say is your favorite?
My favorite is always Shakespeare. I much prefer watching Shakespeare. I don't know why. I like the like Macbeth in particular is one of my favorites to see. But I like the style, I guess the prose. I don't know. To me, it's like more, I can't say more artistic, but like, I guess it's just so like old school that like it's more interesting for me to watch than like a more modern one.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially because like culturally, so much of what we like associate with theater is Shakespeare. That's like the quintessential example of a play is a Shakespeare play. So I can see that.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like, I don't know. I think I also like how they were written so long ago, but the emotions and feelings and stuff like are still relevant today. So I think I enjoy that about like the age of the plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely interesting. I have seen Macbeth, A Midsummer Night's Dream, which I read A Midsummer Night's Dream is like the most popular play, like has been produced as a play more than any other play.
Really?
Supposedly, I don't know how accurate that is now.
I would think that'd be Romeo and Juliet, but
yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I would think that too, but I did see, I don't think I've seen Romeo and Juliet as a play performed, but I definitely saw it like performed on TV, like kind of like I saw Hamilton, you know? Yeah.
A recording rather than live.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which, I don't know, I kind of like recordings too, because you can watch them from the comfort of your own couch.
Yeah. Although some people, you know, it's the same with music. Some people swear by the live performance that, like,
oh, yeah.
You gotta see it live to have the true experience.
Well, definitely. And so, like, we actually went to New York. We did, like, a sister's trip earlier in the year, just, like, a very short trip. And our sister-in-law, she, like, her dream is, like, she's a theater person. She helps, like, teach kids in theater. And her dream was, like, to go to Broadway. And so she actually did see a play while we were there. I don't remember what it was, but we like dropped her off at the theater line and then like came back and met up with her because we were like, well, we don't want to pay that. Like, it's not that important to us. So
yeah,
we're like, we don't want to pay that much for a ticket, but we'll drop you off.
Yeah, they get expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And I don't like it that much, but I do think it's funny that like a lot of people just absolutely love the theater. And I almost feel bad when I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of musicals. Like,
yeah.
People like love them and they listen to the soundtracks and stuff. And like, I could see some things like listening to the soundtrack, but for the most part, like, I don't really care about that, you know?
Yeah, me either. I've never been a huge musical fan. It's just something about the style of performance I don't like.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say like some of them, like, I think the more dramatic ones, like maybe Les Miserables, like I liked seeing it in person, but at the same time, I was just kind of like I don't want to go see, I'm trying to think of one, like Grease, I don't feel the need to like see in person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just kind of like, it's not really my thing. I'd rather see a Shakespearean play, you know?
Yes. Well, what if someone did a Shakespearean musical?
I might
just
go
sang
see that,
all the
actually.
lines. I'm sure people have done that before, but that sounds kind of goofy.
Yeah, I think I just like how dramatic like Shakespeare is and like the period costumes and like, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of things. But yeah, I don't know. I think I like Macbeth because it has like a little like bit of a creepy kind of twist to it.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
So I don't know, but it's you know, one of those things you either love it or you hate it, I think, or you could just take it or leave it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, what's your least favorite that you've seen?
Oh, my least favorite. Oh gosh. Okay. I gotta think about this. My least favorite that I've seen. Okay, I will say, I remember one time as a field trip, we went to the Southern Repertory Theater, and they kind of show some like more odd types of, I can't say odd, I guess just different types of performances. So there was some play, and I forget what style this was. I think I remember it being called like a live play, but obviously it's a live play. I don't know what other stuff. But there were no props.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen a play like that?
I mean, I've heard about that, but I don't know a ton about it.
No backdrops, like no props, no scenery. It was just like a performance of a play with and I don't even ask me what play it was. I have no idea. But it was terrible. Like, I remember thinking, like, you brought us to see this, which I guess I'm glad I experienced it because I was like, this is awful. And I was like in middle school and I was like, I never want to see something like this again. And you know that I'm like more of a creative person. Like, I have imagination, right? But I was not getting it with this kind of thing. Everybody was wearing like the same outfit. Like, it was like, I remember it being like very plain, like maybe like khaki pants and a white shirt or something. And they're all like acting out this play. I want to say actually it was like Moby Dick or something like super, you would know it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was terrible. Like, I'm actually going to look that up. Like, what did I go see? So that had to be my worst experience seeing a play. Yeah. Fun times. So speaking of, I guess, Shakespeare,
Yep.
What we kind of got into this before too, but like I think people have different experiences like with Shakespeare and like what they read or were forced to read like in school.
Yes,
yeah.
Because that is almost certainly going to be part of your English curriculum in the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
At least one Shakespeare play, probably multiple.
Yeah.
I think Romeo and Juliet is like the one everybody's gonna read. I certainly read that one.
Yeah, I feel like that was in English 1, like when I was in 8th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely remember like having that book. I might even still have that book where like the paperback that you go through the play like scene by scene and interpret it and all that kind of stuff.
Ours was in our textbook, so.
Yeah. That's fun. So did you like it going over in English class?
I don't remember. It's been so long. I probably felt the same way about it as I did all English stuff, which is to say I didn't really care.
Yeah. You just didn't like English?
No, yeah, I was one of those students that, like, I would just do it so I could get the grade and move on. I didn't particularly like any of the stories I read.
Okay, so I was a fan of Shakespeare, and I think what I liked is like the iambic pentameter, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed like the rhythm of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Of the sonnets and stuff like that, you know? So yeah, like just I remember reading all that kind of stuff. But so was Romeo and Juliet the only thing that you read?
No, also read Julius Caesar, which I believe those two are the only two that I read, which I think is unusual. I think usually you get like at least one more, maybe even like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah. Did you read like the sonnets and stuff too?
Yeah, the poems, but not any of the other plays.
Wow. Okay. So I definitely remember going through Romeo and Juliet for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Macbeth again.
Yeah, that's a classic.
What about Hamlet? You didn't do Hamlet?
No, we didn't do Hamlet.
See, I remember that one. Definitely Julius Caesar. I feel like everybody does that one too. And again, I've seen A Midsummer Night's Dream like on TV when I was younger and then saw the play, when I was older. But as far as the ones we reviewed, definitely Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, Hamlet, Caesar, and, the poems. So I felt like I had a pretty well-rounded, I mean, I know he's written tons more, but...
Yeah.
But a good introduction, to say the least.
Yeah.
So were you a fan, or you just didn't care at all about the whole thing?
I don't
what
know
about Julius Caesar?
Yeah, I don't know that I cared one way or another. Again, just, it's English class.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they still teach this, though,
Well, he's been considered the greatest writer of the English language, so...
Yeah. And you're just like, who cares?
Yeah, well, I mean, being a high schooler or middle schooler doesn't, you're not really in a position to care about that sort of stuff usually.
Yeah.
I mean, some kids are, but I wasn't one of those.
Yeah. Some of the drama kids, they really enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. To go off of this subject, so I did really enjoy in Paris there's the bookstore Shakespeare and Company. Do you remember?
No.
It's the little English language like bookstore that like all these great writers used to frequent back in the day. It's like a cute little bookstore. It has like cats curled up on the books and stuff. Anyway, I always, every time I go to Paris, which has been a couple of times, I stop there and just check out the books. I don't know that I've ever bought anything from there, but it's definitely like an homage to Shakespeare,
Yeah. Speaking of plays we've read, though, any others that you've read, even if you haven't seen them performed?
Ooh, West Side Story.
Oh, yeah. I didn't read that, but I watched the movie, so.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, we read it. I remember going through that in English class. We also read a little bit of, I don't know if we did the whole thing, but we did A Streetcar Named Desire.
Okay.
And of course that one's, New Orleans set, so That's always one that I think we always do around here. I want to say that I'm sure I've read more, but in class.
Just don't remember?
Yeah.
I think I read a book that was turned into a play in class. Let me look that up, actually. Yes, okay, this is a play and not a book. It's called Our Town.
Oh, yeah, that's a play, yeah. I don't think I read that one, though.
I thought that was a book for some reason. I ended up reading that, so that one. Didn't see any of it, acted out on video or live, so.
Yeah.
And also Antigone, which is an ancient Greek play.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Antigone, we read some of that. I remember that.
So the third, I believe, in the Oedipus saga, whatever you call that.
Yeah. Yeah. The third installment, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I've read more stuff. I do remember, like, in high school, so, I had the same English teacher, like, every year in high school, except for 1 year, we had a different one. But for the most part, I had the same one, because it was, like, an honors, like, English teacher or whatever. And she was, like, super excited about plays, and, like, anytime we would read one, she would, like, let us watch a video of it too, like she was just super into it. So I think that contributed to, doing more like Tennessee Williams and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, I would say not something I super enjoy, but every once in a while, like something will come to like the community theater here and I'll be like, oh, that'll be fun to go see. Or, like, if I know, like, my friend or, like, my mom or something, like, really would want to see something, I'll get tickets and we'll go together, But it's not something I would choose to do, like, with my time. I'd rather go see a movie. Like, I like movies a lot better than plays.
Yeah.
But like I said, I definitely enjoy, like, seeing the orchestra. So, one thing that our orchestra does, we have the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra. And they do some cool little events. So, like for Christmas, they'll play, like Home Alone, like on a big projector and like, but all the music is done by the orchestra.
Oh yeah, that used to be more common back in the day.
Yeah, we've seen a few, like we've seen, Jaws that way and Jurassic Park. And those are both like very dramatic, like musically.
Yeah, known for their soundtracks, so.
Yes, so it was so good and fun. Just like a fun thing to do,
Yeah, that's also kind of like the play experience, seeing live music while you're seeing acting and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fun. And I would definitely prefer like the orchestra over over theater.
And movies. Yeah, so definitely not your favorite medium.
No, but I honestly sometimes feel a little bad because I don't know why. Like I feel a little like guilty because I guess because I know people who like absolutely love, musicals and stuff. And I remember my cousin like really into the Phantom of the Opera and would play like the soundtrack like all the time. I can't get into it like that,
No, me either.
But another genre, I haven't really seen this, but is like I don't know if it's called like the docu-musicals. I don't know if that's just like an article I read, made that name up, but it's basically like documentary style musicals. Have you like seen or heard about any of those?
No, I don't even know how that would work.
So basically, it's usually like a retrospective of somebody's life. So, or like there's the Beatles.
Oh, okay. That
or the Michael Jackson one. I don't know what it's called. But usually like Las Vegas will have it, like those kinds of shows. And then they'll sometimes like travel around, But that's a whole other, I feel like, subset of the theater.
Yeah.
And those are, I think, kind of interesting. I've seen like parts of some, but I'm still just kind of like, I'd rather like just read it in a book, like,
yeah.
I'll need to act out the whole thing.
Yeah, speaking of, do you prefer reading plays to seeing them then?
I think it really depends. Like, like if it's Shakespeare, that can be a little tedious to read.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'd rather see it acted out. But I guess for the most part, I would rather see them live. If I'm going to read anything, like I'd rather just read a novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting, because my, like, entire history with that has been, like, either movies or reading the play and not actually, like, seeing them live.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of indifferent to seeing a live performance.
I just never really had the opportunity. I'm not, like, if it presented itself, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I don't think, like, it's something I would particularly enjoy.
Yeah.
It's also just, like, because I've never had the, like, opportunity, I don't really have, like, an entry point.
Yeah.
I guess go see a Shakespeare play, but, you know.
Right. And they have, like, in New York, they do, like, Shakespeare in the Park and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That might be a cool, like, thing to go see.
Yeah.
We always have in New Orleans, a Stella, like, yelling contest, like, every year. So I think that's, like, a funny kind of riff off of, you know, the play. So there's always, like, some kind of, like, activity that's kind of like comes from theater too, you know?
Yeah.
I always think that's funny. I mean, not that I want to go see a bunch of people yelling Stella, but I think it's kind of funny. Like, it's entertaining, at least.
Yeah. What about movies based on plays or musicals? Do you have a favorite of those?
I would have to say, I think, like, they did a good job on the Les Miserables. Like, I forget who acted in it, but they did like
Hugh Jackman, right?
Yes. And I'm thinking of the guy, I cannot think of the dude's name. There's another actor in it. Anyway, I thought they did a good job. Like, production value was really good on that. I have not seen Cats.
Oh, God. Oh, I forgot about Cats.
Like, the newer one, I have not seen it, with Taylor Swift and, there's a bunch of people in it.
No.
Like, well-known people.
I mean, that was famously a disaster, so...
Yeah, that's why I wanted to watch it and see. Like, have low expectations going into it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've also not seen that. I just remember, like, from the first trailer, people were like, what is this?
Yes. I mean, you had to know it was going to be a disaster, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But I think we should do some research and watch that one. I feel like it would be terrible.
But as far as movies I've seen based on plays and musicals, I have to say West Side Story is a good movie.
Yeah, that was good.
You know, that's a classic. And Romeo plus Juliet, are you familiar with that one?
Is that the one where it's like a modern day like twist with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio and John Leguizamo and all these other people?
Yes.
So I have to say, I'm glad you brought that up because I get excited about that one. That one was like my movie, like back in the day.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I actually rewatched it, like not that long, like maybe like 6 months ago or something. I saw it on some streaming and like I rewatched it and I was like, this is so funny that like...
Yeah, it is. That's great.
We were like in love with this movie back then.
I mean, I just love that they have guns, but they have sword written across them.
Yes, and they're wearing like Hawaiian shirts and stuff. Like, you're just like, what?
And it's very over the top.
Oh yeah, so like the filming and everything is just like
the acting.
Yeah, I love it though. Like Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio are just like perfect.
Yeah, it's got a good soundtrack too.
Yeah. This is awesome. Definitely a highlight of, what was that, the 90s?
Yeah, 96.
Yeah, definitely a highlight of the 90s. I loved it. It is very funny, like, watching it now, though. It's like, oh, we thought this was so cool. We were in, like, 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other films, though?
I mean, Hamilton, like, I don't know if you'd say, that was just a recording, though.
Oh, yeah, that's really not the same. Yeah, that's the play itself.
Yeah, so, okay. Grease, obviously.
Oh, right, yeah. Never seen that, but
yeah, I don't know that you would like it. I was really young, like seeing that one. I remember it came on TV for like the first time, and that was a good one. I mean, that's like a classic.
Yeah,
I feel like there's so many references to Grease that like you have to see it. But I don't know that there were any other like films. I mean, West Side Story, Grease. So where does this fit in? Like, how they do like the live action Disney movies?
Those I think are definitely pulling a bit from musicals.
Yeah.
Just like the originals. But like I'm not sure. Like I think that's just a movie and it's not like I don't know.
Yeah. I know. It's hard to say because it kind of is a musical, but then it's like, well, it's a Disney movie, live action,
Like I don't know how much because I know there's like like a Beauty and the Beast musical or that was the story they're adapting that from. Was that a musical originally?
Beauty and the Beast?
Or was that a novel first? No, it's a fairy tale first. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale. They made a Disney movie. Yeah, so there's a few of those that are like, we know them as Disney movies, but they're obviously, a lot of those are from fairy tales.
Yeah, or other stories, yeah.
Yeah, and include like, I think I did see actually like in a theater, I saw like Pocahontas.
Oh, okay.
Which, again, I mean, I knew it as a Disney film. And I don't think I've ever seen that movie. But I did see it as a play.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. There's a few Disney movies that I missed.
It'd be funny if you saw one of those, like, kind of wacky, like the Shrek musical, before you saw the Shrek movie.
Yeah, you'd be like, what? Yeah, I can't say, like, I'm a huge Disney fan either. Obviously, as a kid, like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast were, like, my favorites. And so I'll watch the live action of those. Like, I watched the live action of Beauty and the Beast and thought it was cute. And I probably will see The Little Mermaid, like, when that comes out on streaming, the live action.
I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, and that's really, like, nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, I loved The Little Mermaid, and I would pretend like I was a mermaid, like every other little girl.
Yeah.
So I think that's just, like, a nostalgic one, to see how they do it, live action.
I wonder if that's why I don't like musicals, because I never got into those Disney musicals as a kid. I always watched the Disney Pixar movies, which aren't musicals, so...
Yeah, Pixar was legit, though.
Yeah.
I like those, too. Yeah, it could be. I think, I don't know, like a friend of mine, I have one friend that really likes plays, and like she and her husband have like season tickets to like the theater where they live. And so she'll always tell me like she saw one recently that was kind of like a pretty well-known one. And she was like, it was awful. Like I didn't like it at all. And
yeah, I suppose that happens.
Yeah. But I would never that's not me. Like I'm not going to buy season tickets to a theater. I'd much rather go see like a concert or something.
Right. Because I imagine if you're into it, you start getting really into the minutia of not just the play itself, but the performance of the play.
Yeah.
Which is something that like a more passive fan would be like, oh, I liked Shakespeare and not, I like this performance of Shakespeare.
Yeah, okay, so that brings me on the community theater role, because like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like community theater is awful. I am just kind of like blasé about it. I'm like, I don't really care about performance-wise, because these people are doing a better job than I could do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, some community theater, they just, are terrible, but that's what it is. It's community theater,
Yeah, they're amateurs usually.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't care. Like, going in, it's not going to be like the performance of a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody does, as far as I'm concerned, a good job, and I don't really care about the technical aspects of the performance.
Yeah, I can imagine though, if you're really into plays and stuff, and you've seen Hamlet 30 times, you really don't want to see like a community theater version of it.
I could see that for sure. Like going from something with like amazing production value, if you've seen it,
and like an incredible cast theater, and all that.
Yes. Yeah. I could see that. Like, no way it's gonna like ruin it for you. But I mean, it's a cheap and easy way to see, very accessible.
Yeah.
To see some famous plays you otherwise wouldn't. So
yeah, but that's why I like movies better, and I don't like movies all that much. But a movie's the same thing every time you put it on, so it.
Yeah, exactly. I love movies, but all right. Well, you have anything else to add about theater?
No, I don't have anything else to add. Take us out.
All right.
Theater. It's an interesting medium that I don't really partake in.
Exactly. Well,
that's my conclusion.
There you go. There's our a bit inexperienced discussion on theater. Thank you for listening, and join us next time on Beach View. Bye.
Bye.